Yes. What are your thoughts about ChatGPT 5 compared to 4?
I
don't like
it. I haven't noticed a difference.
Really?
Like, I don't really know. Oh, well, so I got some of those already. It reminded me of how
This is the first time I ever got these.
So it reminded me of how Perplexity does stuff. Have you ever used Perplexity?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a lot, but
I don't
used
like
it.
Perplexity, but I do like that it is okay. So yes, I have noticed things, but it's not bothering me. I guess that should be the better answer. Yeah, I don't think it's terrible by any means. Why don't you like it?
It's just it feels like less.
Personal?
Yes, feels like it's. Feel like I was getting more like personalized human answers. Now it's just like
it does feel
spitting
a little
information. No matter what I do,
I did have to yell at it a few times.
Like when it first happened, I was like, "What is going on?"
Yeah.
Chat today.
So no, and
I looked into it and I was like, "Oh, it's actually."
Have you told it that you don't like it, though? Have you told it that you don't like how it's communicating?
I've told its tone like on multiple times.
Okay. I don't know. I guess I'll have to play with it a little bit more. I wasn't like super upset about it, I suppose.
No, that's fair. Mm-hmm. I think I was just looking for something very specific. The few days I was using it down in Florida, I was just not having it. It was not getting. It was not even close to what I needed. I was just like, I'm so done with it.
So, I'm going through. Let's go. Okay, I'm going through since it changed.
Yes, go through one of your previous chats.
Well, so no, the questions I have asked it in the last week are not personal at all.
No.
I asked for microwave drawer options and microwave drawer options and pricing and reviews, reword some email requests, ceiling height versus the drop downs. Like I don't even know what to call it. What did it call it in here? Drop rod or something?
Gotcha. For like your fans or lighting fixtures or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was doing.
Okay. So these weren't personal.
I told
questions.
it to search for. I took a picture of a chair in Home Goods and told it to search for it to buy it.
Oh, that's awesome. Did
and
it work?
then I looked for shooting range laws.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Because there's a shooting range that opened across the street from my house.
Oh yeah, Vortex is one, right?
Vortex isn't. It's not Vortex's. It's the neighbors. Like they started it and it's like renting it out. But it's kind of not cool for selling my house.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but
they just need to be low key until my house is sold.
You have to text them and be like, "Hey, we'll close the gun range for an hour. We're showing this day."
Right, like look at the open house days. Like, oh nope, there is a gun event that night. We are not doing an open house today. Yeah, let's just go and I will go down the rabbit hole because I'm gonna just keep going on this one.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, you just heard our opening conversation there talking about ChatGPT and its new model and how sort of the backlash it's received within the community, and we were talking about specifically for marketing with it. This is kind of what we like and didn't like about it. Mm-hmm. I really didn't like it. Stacia really didn't notice the difference. So
I just kept rolling.
Kind of two varying opinions. But yeah, basically with this episode, we're just going to talk about marketing and AI and how someone needs to survive in the upcoming years with AI and how it's taking over some of our jobs and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. What was really like interesting, so Carter's leaving us, as you guys know, and going back to college, so I'm looking at replacing his job right now, and we've gotten 70-ish applicants for it. And so what makes you stand apart? What makes someone stand apart from the other 69 people that applied? Yeah. So we actually had someone who didn't apply on Indeed. They came in and dropped off a resume and a cover letter that was customized for us yesterday.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, girl, way to set yourself up for an interview automatically. Like,
right?
Good job.
Yeah, Stacia wasn't even in the office. It was me and the two Johns up front, and we're like, oh, that was kind of cool.
Right? Way to, like, absolutely take the initiative to do it, especially because it's not that you are replaceable, but your job is a job that is something like marketing that you are literally going to college for is something that will continuously be replaced by AI.
Yeah.
Like, what does that make you think about? Like your future, obviously, your dad's, you've got a whole different like realm. But if you've got friends that are in the same degree as you that are going to be graduating this year, what does that make how does that make them feel? How do you feel about it? What do you think, obviously, like the next 5 years look like?
I think well, for me personally, just looking at it, I feel like it's scary. And looking at the job market and the trends that going on, it's scary, to be honest with you. But I think there's certain things you can do. I was talking about this with my dad's business in general. I think if you become an AI marketing expert, I think that can really set you apart. I feel like there's going to be lots of jobs, not even, I say AI in marketing, but AI finance. If you're an expert in that, you can take certifications or courses on that. I feel like that can set you over the edge. But realistically, I feel like the job market is not looking great for some of your typical white collar jobs coming out of college.
Especially the entry level.
Yes.
Because those entry level jobs where you develop the skills are now replaced by a robot that can do it for you. So how do you go about developing those skills for it? How do you raise kids? I've got, my oldest is 13 right now, so how do I prepare them to be able to have a job in the next 7 years? Like, we have no idea. Like, right now, we're just at the cusp of starting with AI. In the next 7 years, it's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah. We're in, like, the wish-wash area where we're not sure exactly where it's going to go.
You still have people that are like, oh, AI's dumb. No, why would you use ChatGPT? Like, no, this is not the right way. You are thinking the wrong way, because if you keep having that mindset, in the next 5 years, you are going to regret it.
Yeah. I do think marketing as the industry will be interesting to see exactly how much AI gets into it. Because a lot of it is creative stuff, and just stuff like a lot of crazy campaigns ChatGPT would not come up with.
No.
Like it's very much, it can be based on people. So
for sure.
I'm interested to see where the strategy and sort of just random campaigns come from.
Well, we were talking about it. Obviously, the heavy amount that I use ChatGPT versus like John up front. I told him to ask ChatGPT to organize something for him because I needed something printed out, report of some sort.
Yeah.
And he didn't like how it was, and I was like, tell it to do this. And he's like, oh, I didn't even think about that. And I told him, I was like, you can curate it to be what you want. Like, that, right? Tell it, hey, I like emojis, I don't like emojis, I want more of this tone, I want more of that tone. I was like, you're the one that has to feed the information. Like, if you're not feeding the information to it, how does it know what you want? That's like, it's just goofy. Like, if you expect this thing to read your mind, it's not going to read your freaking mind unless you tell it what your mind is thinking.
Yeah.
But like, mine, I usually brainstorm with it heavily, as we were just talking about with the difference of ChatGPT 4 and 5. Mine has been heavily house focused for the last week.
Yes.
So I haven't used it.
A lot of like very raw conversation, not a lot of in-depth thinking so far.
No. And not creative thinking.
Yes.
Like, creative wise, I would have 100% noticed a difference and been perturbed about it.
Yeah.
But what I'm liking about it for the ChatGPT 5 is I want the direct answers with places that I can, buy this at. I want real reviews. I want, any kind of recalls, any of this kind of stuff on it, because I'm looking, I'm buying ceiling fans, I'm buying appliances, I'm doing all of this stuff that I need straight to the point answers on. And ChatGPT knows that I like that kind of stuff. Like, hey, I don't like fluff in there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I have other projects within ChatGPT where I'm like, I want the creative brainstorm with me, but I also, I'm the person to tell ChatGPT, please do not agree with me. Like, my narrative may not be the right narrative, so don't agree with everything that I say. And I think a lot of people struggle with that because ChatGPT becomes their best friend because it agrees with them 24/7 because it wants to make you happy. It's a freaking robot, but you tell it, like, stop agreeing with me.
Yeah.
Please, like, be a intellectual sparring partner with me, not to argue with me to argue, but to give me a different point of view that maybe I didn't see because I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And I think that's super important. But coming back to it, how does someone set themselves apart, and what do you see happening, especially as you're coming into your senior year of college? where do you see, you see different people and you see different friends and you've got a good amount of emotional and social intelligence,
Yeah.
but you can see, okay, this person is not going to use their marketing degree
Yes.
whatsoever because they cannot do it. And the people that are going to, what's something that you see at a college level of differences where people are setting themselves apart?
So, in general, I want to say the theme around marketing the last 5 or 6 years is a lot of it, you see it as the easiest major, is what a lot of people see it in college. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did not.
No, it's generally seen as one of the easiest majors in college, which educationally, no, educationally, it's probably got some truth to it.
Yeah.
But so you see, I see a lot of disengagement with a lot of my college friends who just aren't engaged with marketing, don't keep up with it, or don't put any effort into it.
Okay.
And kind of just roll with just the basics. Like,
they just went to college to go to college, you mean?
Yes.
Or okay.
Both.
So yeah.
Both.
Okay.
So that's where like the easiest major, if their parents wanted them to go to college. And
Gotcha.
I've met a lot of people who've like, yeah, I'm just picking marketing because it's supposed to be the easiest. I'm like, what are you doing?
Like, why would you waste that much time in it? Money.
Yeah.
Like, I guess that's hard for me to comprehend because I'm just not one of those people whatsoever.
Yeah. And there's people that went to college for marketing who like it, but just aren't like committed to it, I would say, or as engaged.
Committed, creative.
Yeah. Yeah. I met some very creative people who you can just tell are not going to succeed with it either.
Yeah.
Just for other outside sources, like their people skills suck or, stuff along those lines. But
that's what's going to be huge, though, is people skills, no matter what degree you got into. I mean, you look at it, China opened up their first AI hospital, but there's only like one doctor on each floor.
That's crazy.
Because it's completely like a robot whom you're talking to. But you think about it, Josh, my husband, had gotten poison oak, and we took a picture of his leg and threw it into ChatGPT, and it said, okay, it looks like it was, either poison ivy, poison oak, maybe a mixture of the two of them. And it asked me questions like, is it starting to like tread upward, like lines or anything like that? Does it look like it's going through the blood, through his blood, this, that, and the other? And it was saying like, you have the option of, don't scratch it, put on like calamine lotion or anything like that. And they had said, take the picture in the next day or two, and it got worse. And they're like, he needs antibiotics. Like, end of story, you got to go to the doctor and get some antibiotics.
It's crazy how far that's come in the last even year.
Oh, for sure. It's just, easy things like that. And, I've got a friend who's on GLP-1. And so she was talking about, I wanted to know what are different things that I can eat with taking this GLP-1. I don't have anyone to talk to because a lot of people are embarrassed for taking it because they're
this
like,
might sound stupid. What's GLP-1?
So GLP-1 is like the huge weight loss medicine right now.
Oh, okay.
So semaglutide, tirzepatide, GLP-1 is what they call it. I've done some research into it because it's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
From what I'm seeing on it, because it's truly helping so many people. Like if they have like PCOS, it's like polycystic ovary syndrome, like they're having trouble getting pregnant or anything like that, like they're taking this weight loss medication and it's actually helping them have kids, not just lose weight, but actually like cool. Making them healthy.
Yeah.
And so having a way and an option to do that besides just exercise and working out, because a lot of the times when people have weight loss issues, there's way more to it, like in their mind, that they just can't get over.
It's a mental battle.
100%.
Actually, I wouldn't say most of the time, probably all the time.
Probably all the time. And because you hear about like food noise, like, what do you do when you're uncomfortable or anything like that? People eat.
What do you do when you're bored?
I
eat.
Yeah, you're sitting down in front of a movie and like all of a sudden you're like, holy cow, this whole bag of chips was gone, and you didn't think about it appropriately. And then how many jobs you're just sitting on your butt all day, and you're going to keep gaining weight if you don't change what you're doing. But then you're mentally exhausted and emotionally, maybe not physically exhausted, but you feel that way as you start gaining weight. So anyways, long story short on there, they're able to talk to it as like a consultant that, hey, I'm having this issue or this issue. What are some situations that I can do to maybe make me feel a little bit better? Because obviously, your body's mad at you because you're not giving it the same amount of sugar and carbs that you had before. So what can you do to feel better? What can you do to, have more energy? Because if you're eating less food, sometimes you're going to have a little bit less energy, obviously. So I was able to go back and forth with her, and I was like, this thing is amazing.
That is sweet.
And you don't need to pay to go to the doctor to join like a group. You don't have to go, we're not sitting round robin and having a conversation about
right.
this. And especially if she's more on the side of being embarrassed about it. And I was like, you should not be embarrassed whatsoever. Like, this is amazing. Do we know the long-term effects or anything like this? Not necessarily, but
end of the day, it might be better than being
I really think so,
overweight
because being overweight and having, mental issues and depression versus now that she's losing weight and she's super freaking happy, like, I'm pretty sure those side effects, she's going to take it.
Yeah.
So.
Or at least they'll cancel out.
They'll cancel each other out,
Yeah.
and at least, she's happy.
Right.
So ChatGPT is just, it's just crazy with all the different things that you can do with it. But let's go back to how to set yourself apart. What are you, and this is a hard one because you're on your path of where you're necessarily going. So like in the next year from now, like you have a vision of where you are, but what is a good thing, I guess, that we should say of advice for people of what you should do or what you should look for? I know there's a couple of things that definitely stick out to me.
Yeah.
But what do you think that someone who, let's just say that they're going to be out of college shortly, what's something that you really think that they should work on?
I think, well, to start, I think if you're just starting your college career in marketing or just getting into marketing, I tried to fast track it.
Okay.
So I end of sophomore year of college, which is not your typical internship month. That's when I started looking for internships. That's when I ultimately got this one. So I was like, I wanted
Carter.
It's not that big of a deal. But I was
It is a big deal.
I wanted an early start, and I wanted some extra experience. And I feel like that's the biggest thing. You get as much experience as you can. Even picking up like little freelance jobs here and there if you need to. I don't know, start looking for internships right away. I feel like if you, right now, for the scenario I'm in and other people around me, I think we want to fast track to get past that entry level experience jobs. I think you want to find the fastest way to get to those mid-level manager jobs.
That is
because I think that will give you a little bit more job security over AI, where AI is going to take over those entry-level jobs.
Oh,
so that's
100%.
that's my thought process is to you want to reach for the stars as quick as you can.
Yep.
Not necessarily reach for the stars, but sort of fast track your career if possible.
Don't take the easy route necessarily, don't have the extra. If you choose, it's just like any kind of consequence in life. Any kind of choice is going to lead to an action or a reaction from what you've chosen. And that's exactly what puts into it. Like if you choose to have more of a cushy life during college, this is maybe a harder path that you're taking down
Long
the road.
term, yeah.
Yep. Versus, putting in a little bit more effort from the get-go. That's a really good, that one is really good.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think?
I think really working on your people skills and your communication. Yes, getting a job for sure. Because, if I see a resume that comes in, this comes, directly back to obviously looking for your position that we're going to replace here, is that we had 70 applicants come in and I had the job open for 2-3 day periods. So the amount of people out there job searching is huge.
Yeah.
And how do you set yourself apart from it? Personality is huge. Having that phone interview and making sure that you stand out. What is your positivity that you're giving? Talk about, if you don't have a lot of experience, like, man, you better be showing why you are freaking worth it.
Yeah. For those no context here, Stacia always does a phone interview first, which is just a couple minutes just to see just see your personality, see if you fit in, see how engaged
fit the
you
culture.
are. Yeah.
100%. If you come off as negative or you don't feel engaged or you apply for a marketing position and you didn't even look at our social media.
Yeah. That just happened.
That just happened with a Today phone interview. That I'm like, man, you applied for a social media content position and you didn't look at our social media? Like, it takes 30 seconds.
It's the basics.
It is. So
dude, just do your research a little bit.
Right, like properly preparing for an interview, especially because you have so much competition.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think obviously that guy didn't realize on how much competition is with any of this. And I advised him at the end. I was like, hey, just letting you know, this job did have a lot of interest for the next, during these next 2 weeks here. I'm just doing phone interviews before I go to the next stage. At this next stage, I would either send you an invite to come on in for an in-person interview, but otherwise, we may choose to go separate ways. So it's just part of it. I'm flat honest with it. I'm not going to waste your time or my time. And if you don't put forth the effort to even prep for an interview, no thanks. And which it goes directly back to, I had another interview with somebody else today, and she had a very young baby that I could hear in the background, and she still took the time to look at our social media, look at Facebook and TikTok and our website, and she still has a baby in the background. Like, are you trying to tell me you don't have enough time? Because that's what he told me. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't have enough time to take a look at it. And I was like, two problems there, my friend. Number one, you did not look at the social media pages, and number two, you told me that you do not have enough time, which we all have 24 hours in a day. So.
It just makes my heart ache.
Right?
It really does.
You're like, dude, that really was the wrong person to say that line to.
And just not put that effort in. It just makes me.
It makes you cringe.
Yeah.
Like, what in the world? But how to set yourself apart? Do your research.
Yeah.
Yep. Do your research. And we've got a guy that is here that has a girlfriend who works in the job seeking field, and I just read Carter her message, and it was flat out saying like, hey, we need to put more focus on trade jobs because because white collar jobs are being replaced by AI very quickly. And there's going to be a shift coming in the next few years, which we talked about in our trades episode.
Yeah.
That, I even talked about on my personal social media. We're building a house right now, as I've said, and they're putting in the HVAC and the plumbing and all the electrical. Mm-hmm. There's no robot going to be running those HVAC lines through my house. Like, nope, there just isn't. Actually teaching your children that there's other options and places to go, and things to do if you just put forth a little effort. So, which parenting wise is difficult because all of your kids turn out so different. I have 5 of them, and all 5 of them are different.
Oh, absolutely. And they're still going to grow and change and mature.
Oh, for sure.
Because relatively speaking, they're all young.
They are all young. Yeah.
Start thinking about that. But obviously you can tell.
You can. And, I saw something.
Their interests are just like where they're going to end up.
Oh, yeah.
I should say.
Okay, when is someone's personality set? I don't know if it's sure because I looked at it. It wasn't. I was at a seminar, and it was. It had a speaker come in, and he does it's like a personality test, but not.
Okay.
So he had said that your personality, your core self, is set by the time you are 12.
Really, your core values are set that young.
And so just like who you are, like your core, that stuff is usually set in stone by then. Are there certain things that can change it? Obviously, very poor upbringing, this, that, or the other. But there are certain things that are set by that age for you. And so I don't know where he grabbed it from. So can I.
I really was like, I don't believe it. But then thinking back to it, as a 12-year-old, I was running around with the camera, filming just random shit. Mm-hmm.
Just
filming
enjoying
hunts,
it.
yeah.
And so
just having fun with it.
Oh, for sure. In which meaning though, your personality is going to change completely. Obviously, you mature and you grow up.
Yes.
But your core person, who you are personally, what if you're an introvert, if you're an extrovert, that is really, I do agree with it, that it is probably known around that 12 to 13.
Yeah.
Because I can see it among my children of who is, who's followers and who's leaders. I have a mixture of both between all 5 of them, and what they're going to do for jobs. I've got certain ones that I know will go for a management position or be entrepreneurs, and I have other ones that I know that they will be very happy just working at a job, and they would never want to, work over someone. And it also comes to effort level too, which is kind of wild that it is at such a young age that you see it. You see Parker.
Yeah. Kid's an animal.
The kid is. He is going to be the best worker.
Oh, he's going to be nuts.
He is going to be so good.
It's awesome.
Whoever, whoever my kid ends up working for, like, man, you are so freaking lucky. You just found yourself a goddamn workhorse.
Yeah.
Like, you found someone that was, like, born in the wrong time.
Yeah, but it's crazy that, like, we both know this. I don't know Parker very well. Like,
just from seeing him
Yeah.
and hearing the different things I say.
dozen, maybe 2 dozen times for little intervals. But yeah, he's gonna be that guy.
He is so funny because at home the other day, we'll backstory this. We were doing our rough-in walkthrough last week because Carter was on vacation, and so he didn't get to hear the story. So we did the rough-in walkthrough, and in the plumbing walkthrough, they had already put a pipe from the basement to the upstairs for like a sink drain.
Okay.
And so there is like the shut-off valve that they said, they're like, okay, in this room, we're going to end up having like, we have to like actually have like a little plate on it. Like, it'll just be screwed in. It won't be easily accessible or anything like that. And I was like, what do you mean by screwed in? So there's like 4 screws on the outside of it, like Phillips screws. And the guy's like, yeah. And I was like, we can't have that in this room. I was like, I'm sorry, like, my naughtiest one is in here. And I was like, okay, let me change my wording. I'm like, he's not my naughtiest one. He is my most creative.
He's your adventurous.
I'm like, he's so smart. And they're like, didn't you say this is the youngest kid? I said, yeah. He is so freaking smart. And he's like, well, I mean, he's only going to get to it if he has tools. And I was like, the kid has a damn toolbox. He is a 4-year-old with a freaking toolbox. Like, he literally has a tool bag, he has a toolbox, and he has a tool, like, pouch that he freaking wears.
He will get to that.
He will get to it. And I was like, that is a challenge for him. You have now put something on his wall that has 4 screws in it. And, like, the guy thought I was a little crazy, and Josh was like, slightly, like, he's like, I don't know why you guys made that guy change it around. And I was like, we have oldest child, 13-year-old boy, in this room. We have youngest child, 4-year-old boy in this room. Which one is going to play with the fucking plate?
Let's be honest.
Which one is going to? And so, like, the guy kind of laughed about it. He's like, oh, it's not a big deal. And so then a different guy had overheard me, though, and had brought it up. And he's like, yeah, I think this might be smart. So, all on his own, I told him the other day he needed to come up to, like, I was at the house getting the house ready because we're selling it, and then he was at the shed, and I had said, I'm like, Dad's busy, you can't play with him right now. He's like, I'm going outside, I need to work on my dune buggy. And I was like, okay. So then I went inside and I was telling Josh, like, hey, he said he's working outside this and there. Parker's like, I need a jack.
No way.
Yep, I need a jack. I need some jack stands. This is all on his own outside.
Oh, no way.
So he throws up the dune buggy on some jack stands, and he's underneath here on a creeper, this video here that we've got. He's just taking a screwdriver. He's
just trying random stuff. He's just messing with it.
He's just messing with it.
That's good, though.
This makes him happy.
That's awesome.
Is seriously his happy zone. And so after the second guy had brought it up when we were downstairs, because the first guy, he like slightly blew me off with it. Like, oh, it really won't be that big a deal. This lady's crazy.
Yeah.
So now we're at hour number 5 of doing this walkthrough, and then the other guy had brought it up, and my contractor had overheard it, and he's like, hey, Mike, I think his name is Mike. He's like, Mike, can you please just swap that to the other room? Like, is that going to be a big deal for you? He's like, I had like had that video out of Parker and showed it to him. He's like, nope, not a big deal at all. We're good.
Yep,
we are set. So he's great, and he's amazing.
Yeah.
He is. He's just going to be like a hard frickin' worker.
Yeah.
Not that my other children aren't going to be, but they are not Parker.
Yeah. For sure.
They do not have that, like, the kid will never be able to have an office job.
No, he won't be able to sit still for.
No.
The school's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
For you guys. Good luck with that.
Yeah. This year will be his first time in 4K all day long with the other kids too, and it's at school and not at daycare 4K. So I'm very curious to see how it goes. Yeah. I think it'll be interesting. And he has 2 other little boys in his class that are also like extra.
Yeah.
And so like the 3 of them together. Oh.
Feel bad for that teacher.
Sorry. Like, it's gonna be so much fun to watch them.
Oh yeah.
Like, it will be, like, as much as they'll like hate it, like they will love it because they'll be like,
yeah,
kids aren't like this
anymore.
Yeah, they're like, kids aren't like this anymore. So to like see those kids like that, it's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah.
So
talk about a rabbit hole. Holy cow.
Yeah, we really went down one with that one. But it was just talking about, back to it, personality and how are you going to set yourself apart.
Yeah.
So I think that's huge. Obviously, starting resume 2. A question for you. Do you put a picture on your resume or not, Carter?
No, I get very much yelled at for doing that.
Really?
Yeah.
In your marketing classes?
Yeah, in any college class, they're like, we know it's a trend, just don't do it. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
No, I
don't
agree.
do it. Yeah, but.
All right, we're back. Sorry, we had an interview that we needed to do. So, figure out Carter's next stage here. Who that's going to be. So, what we wanted to cruise on next, though, was what are some skills that younger kids need to be taught now, especially if their personalities and their like core self is starting to be quote unquote set by the time they're 12. What are some things that you need to do?
Yeah,
I mean, you think of it too, like Carter was just telling me that he was more of an introvert as a kid.
As a kid, I was for sure. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's something I just naturally developed over time to become a little bit more extroverted, or if it's something I had to like set out to do. What are your thoughts on that?
I've got a question for you with that, because that's a perfect lead-in to what my question is are you an extrovert in all situations, or is it only in situations that you are comfortable in? Because like with me, obviously you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Like this is a no-brainer that we can have a solid conversation back and forth. But say that you are at like a show for your dad's company. Are you feeling extrovert? How is your feeling when you're prepping into that?
So I have an example for this. So in general, I would say I'm extroverted in situations I'm comfortable with, or even like somewhat comfortable. I can be extroverts. But put me in, for example, this last year at school, put me in like a job fair where I have no clue anyone. It's like, oh boy, just give me anxiety.
Yeah. And some people thrive in that.
Yeah, some people are great.
They're just like, boom, those are going to be like the expert networkers. Like, girl, you need to go be a realtor.
Yeah. I do feel like there's a point where I can like fake it necessarily.
Yeah.
Like I have to fake being extroverted. Mm-hmm. I absolutely hate it though. Mm-hmm. It gives me a lot of anxiety. But anyways, that
was what I was just asking. Yeah. No, it's like, because you're like, well, I'm way more extroverted now, and I was like, I think it's situational based. Mm-hmm. You know, whether you're extroverted around people that you're really comfortable with or not.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a huge thing. And obviously you're not. So truly, you still pretty much are an introvert at heart.
No, I still grasp I am an introvert, but I feel like I've gotten better to the point where like meeting new people is not a challenge for me. It doesn't give me anxiety. It's just bad? In a bit, as bad. Like if I need to go shake someone's hand, go meet meet a group of people, that's fine. But put me in a big scenario, like a larger group, maybe. I wouldn't say that's bad. Maybe more so just like public speaking is also another aspect of it.
Okay, you do or don't like it?
I don't like it, but I've definitely seen myself get better at it through college.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if that's just an aspect of it.
Okay.
Or what necessarily.
Mm-hmm. Bailey had her back to school meet and greet of the teacher this last week, and so at their school they have like one teacher for each grade, and then middle school they do have like a couple of like the teachers like move about, but you still have the main 4 like core teachers. Yeah. So Bailey had knew all of them already, but she had met with her main homeroom teacher, and that was one of the questions she asked her are Bailey is 10, she's gonna be 11 this year. Are you a leader or a follower? Like straight up, that is the question.
Straight to your face, huh?
Yep. Are you a leader or a follower? Like which one? Neither is a bad answer.
Yeah.
In which it isn't, and like I feel like that's a really hard thing that people feel so uncomfortable about, because so many people feel that they need to be a leader. That's the only cool thing, this, that, or the other. And that's not true. Mm-hmm. You need to have people in every single scenario, but it's just like, you need a job for everyone. You need someone to work at McDonald's. You need somebody to work at Jimmy John's. You need people to work at Target. You need all these different things. You need people who are willing to run the show so that other people can lead and be able to follow the right examples. So leadership is not for everyone.
No,
I don't think it's a bad thing to not be a leader.
Yeah, and at the same time, you can't have all leaders. No. You can't have all followers. If you have all leaders, it's just crashing all the time.
You're just going to crash and burn.
You have all
100%.
followers, nothing's going to happen.
Nothing's going to get done.
Not literally nothing.
It's going to get done. And it's so true. So it isn't a bad question, but I feel like it's phrased as a bad question sometimes, though.
Yeah.
And it really shouldn't be.
No.
So.
I feel like leadership is sort of this like this hot or sexy thing to just that you see on all your social media influencers and stuff, or just like big time celebrities. I don't know if that's exactly what I'm saying for, but they all promote this kind of like
you want to be a leader. It's
yes.
like the Gary Vee stuff.
That's exactly what I was trying to say.
For.
But I can that's exactly what I'm trying to say. But that's not for everyone, and the majority of the population is followers.
100%.
Necessarily.
You are
because your manager to like younger employee or just like lower level employee, rate is like one manager per 10 employees, something like that, right?
Yep.
So statistically, there's just like way less leadership.
Oh, 100%. And it's not necessarily always it's not a fun thing to be in. I've said that how many different times that there's sometimes that it sucks being a leader. Sometimes it just really isn't fun. You gotta sometimes make choices that are good for the business and not necessarily that you want to make. It's the separation of really church and state.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've set expectations and accountability and it doesn't get done, and unfortunately that means that you have to go in different directions whether you really like somebody or not as a core person. So it definitely isn't for everyone. And so I really loved that she asked her that question, because I tell my kids that too. They don't all have to be leaders. I obviously am. I have been that at my absolute core. That is who I am. That is how I fill my cup.
That's how you've been for the long time.
That's how I was
you knew
as a
that.
kid.
Yeah, you knew that as a kid. You've said it on multiple other podcasts before.
100%. It's just always been me. But is that all of my children? No. And I want them to not feel less than, because they aren't that way. They aren't like me. You don't have to be like me. I am so happy you are individually you. Yeah. And how can I support you to be the best version of you? I say that to staff members here, and I truly feel it. I feel it for my kids. I feel it for staff members. I want everyone to be the best version of themselves, because the best version of themselves isn't the best version of me. It's not what my best version of me is. It's what their best version of themselves is, and how I can help them achieve that.
Yeah.
And so I really like that she asked that question. And Bailey gave like a thoughtful answer to it. And then next her question was, what give me 3 examples that you would do to, if someone didn't know you, that you'd say how you are. Give me 3 like characteristic traits. And so that was really good too, especially because asking those questions at an 11-year-old, they should be thinking that way.
Yeah, really gets the brain just start turning and
realizing.
But also like understand who you are, like self-reflection.
That's it.
Because you aren't thinking about that at that age necessarily.
Getting the emotional intelligence and the social intelligence to start understanding those things, and realizing how you describe yourself. Do you use poor terminology to describe yourself? You see tons of times that as adults, people will use poor language to describe themselves, and it makes you feel bad for them, because it's like, do you really feel that way about yourself? Do you think that way? Like, you should be your biggest cheerleader. Like, hype yourself up. It is not about having a big ego or anything like that. Like, you should be the absolute best you, and you should see the amazing characteristics and quality traits that you have. So I just think it's really interesting. And as kids are getting older, and for my kids too, how can I support them in a way that's helpful, not harmful? I don't want them to learn from all of it. Like, I don't want them to learn from, what's the way I want to word this? You can't learn from everyone, like someone else's mistakes, without creating them your own sometime. Mm-hmm. But in the same aspect, my kids don't need to make the same mistakes that I made to get to where I'm at. Like, I've said it before, during that seminar that I had heard, your goal should be that your children's ceiling is, or your ceiling is your kid's floor. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what you work so hard for. Why not? You want them to have a better life. You want to be able to create these different things for them. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah,
I agree. I feel like, not to say that your kids shouldn't make mistakes. Mm-hmm. Like, you should definitely let them make mistakes. I feel like I made a lot of mistakes that helped me build into who I am, even though I had great parents who were just didn't put me in a lot of bad situations necessarily. Similar to you, what you're doing with your kids. But I still feel like you got a lot of idiots sometimes.
Yeah, they still let you fail sometimes because sometimes you just have to.
Yeah, especially the teenage age where they're getting into, they're gonna make some dumb decisions.
Oh, 100%, and that's where you learn them. As long as obviously there's boundaries in place and you express those and talk to your kids about that appropriately.
Yeah.
You want your kids to push the boundaries. How else are they? You want them to push back on different rules because you don't necessarily want them to follow every direction. If someone tells them to jump off a bridge, they should not be jumping off a bridge. So where's that fine line, and how do you teach your kids that?
Yeah. How do you enforce it too?
Oh man, that's a whole other ball of wax.
We don't have to get into that necessarily.
That might be a whole nother episode of enforcing it. I try to, with my older kids. So I've got my older two. We'll probably wait here until Steve moves.
Yeah.
So everything always obviously varies based on how old your kids are and what are age appropriate ways to set boundaries and make explanations and teach them about things. So like my older two, I'm trying to focus more on what are some of those lessons that I'm teaching that'll be helpful for them and actually, make them do some things on their own. I just said that I took my oldest boy to a doctor's appointment today and I made him check in.
Mm-hmm. It's the little things.
Yep, it is. It's those little things, and it's just starting to gain that independence and realize that. And then another one, someone had made a choice this weekend. An adult had made a choice that I, in my head, I was like, where did we think that was the right choice to make? And for me, I have a high emotional intelligence that I think thoroughly of that I'm like, they just don't have a high enough emotional intelligence to realize that wasn't the smartest choice to make. Like, you should have contacted me, you should have done this, these are some of the stages that would have made more sense. And so my kids were around, when it came through, and I was like, instead of like just getting pissed off and degrading this person, because there was no reason to, I realized who they are as a person. I explained it to my kids of like, okay, this person, like, this is what they did, and it wasn't anything bad by any means, but it wasn't thoroughly thought out. And so I said, like, they done this, like, I really think and recommend that the path that they should have taken is this, because if they would have taken that path, this would have been my reaction. But right now, because they chose this path, my reaction is this, and I'm a little more frustrated and I don't understand why they did that.
Yeah.
When they really should have thought about, hey, how are you affecting other people around you with your choices? Not saying that you should necessarily focus on what everyone else's reaction is going to be to things, but when you're doing something specifically like that, you're taking time out of your day, or you're going to go see something or do something, you should really ask for someone's permission, I suppose, when you're going to do something. The same exact thing goes back to a friend of mine that someone had came over. They had something set up for drop-offs at their house. Okay. And so they had something dropped off, and the person, it was meant to be like a no contact drop-off, like for a reason. They were recovering from a sickness, and they're like, oh, hey, we want to say hi, can we come in? Mm-hmm. Like, it's like, okay, well, you kind of are just like, you're dropping this off, but you're asking for an invite in when it's like specifically like a no contact thing. Like, where did that go through your mind of like, okay, this person's gonna now feel really uncomfortable about that because of the choice that you made? Like, I just don't understand how they didn't have the thought process.
The wherewithal to,
yeah, like, where would you think that was the right thing to do? So it was two super similar situations of like, okay, people just really didn't work on their emotional intelligence that they really need to work on and think about. And those are things that AI can't teach you. Nope. It'll all be real life scenarios, and hopefully that kids can learn on their own.
Yeah.
Because you won't be able to teach them those things. So.
Social cues.
Social cues, yeah. That was the most vague thing in the world without like throwing anyone under the bus or anything like that.
Well,
but I feel like it was.
I think everyone understands that.
It is. It's just, those are certain things.
People with emotional intelligence will understand what you're trying to say.
Like,
what you're trying to say there.
They will thoroughly understand what's going on.
If you don't understand, something to work on.
Yep. If you don't understand, that is something to work on. 100%. Oh, no caller ID.
No answer.
That is called no answer, my friend.
answer it. Let's go back to leadership a little bit.
Okay.
I'm curious, do you think followers can grow into leaders over time?
Yes.
Is that a learnable trait? Or is it something that just naturally happens or develops as you get more experience with it?
Both.
Okay.
I think that there is a difference in leadership that we're talking here. Are we talking like C-level leaders here? C-suite, like CEOs, executives.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should have had more explanation in that. Are we talking executive level, or like entrepreneurial level business, like running multiple businesses level?
Okay.
Or are we talking, managing 10 staff members? Or are we talking about managing one store? Something smaller like that. I 100% agree and believe that followers can turn into leaders with the right, right effort that they put into something. I believe that the best C-suite level staff members, leaders, they are going to naturally have the instinct.
Yeah.
But it's a continued, it's honestly, it's more than a personality trait for having leadership as a personality trait, but it's a skill that you have to continuously work on.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, everyone likes to have, most people, 99% of people like to have some alone time.
Yeah.
No matter what, you still want to have some alone time. You want to fill up your cup, figure out what's going to, push you to that next level. But there's just different levels, and hopefully you can understand what I'm meaning by that. But
Yeah.
there's
sure.
a certain amount of like a bandwidth that somebody has.
Yeah.
There's only, some people have the bandwidth and the capability of dealing with, however many different people, and then they're going to be at a max. They're like, I can't handle this anymore.
Like
I can't do this.
their social battery is drained necessarily.
Yep,
at
social
that
battery. That's 100% it. Good job. That they're drained.
I'm just here to throw pieces together.
You're just gonna pick up what I put down
I throw
here.
a few words at you every once in a
You're
while.
like, here we go.
Oh, throw a big word like executive and social battery at you.
You're like, boom.
See what happens.
We can keep station going with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just like, I think it is a mixture. That sometimes it can be and not. And it just depends on what level. Is that saying that you never are going to be? No. There definitely is, and there's definitely some crappy leaders at the top. Mm-hmm. When you look at different companies, it is. And maybe that's just, it wasn't meant for them to get there.
Yeah.
But I feel that the true, honest leaders who are going to make changes in this world already had it as a personality trait, and then they made it as a complete choice to work on and hone that skill through podcasts, books, seminars, all of that different kinds of choices.
Yeah, that was you led, or I guess sort of answered the next question I was going to ask, which is what are the best ways to improve your leadership skills, you think?
Trial and error.
Yeah.
Trial and error is a big one too. You obviously can't get into a position you can't be in a leadership position without having those lower level jobs.
Yeah.
Understanding how to communicate, how to do different things to be able to get the buy-in. Mm-hmm. I mean, leadership is all about building up others so that you're able to portray a vision and they can lead the boat there.
Yeah.
They can drive the bus to that situation, which, speaking of which, is a really good book by John Gordon, The Energy Bus.
Okay.
Did you read that one or no?
No.
So I gave Carter the coffee bean at the end of last year, and that's a fantastic book, also by John Gordon. But The Energy Bus really talks about how you perceive your life in the world is what it is. Mm-hmm. And if you give off like really great energy and you're really putting out positivity and stuff, how much better the world and life is going to be for you.
Yeah.
And they actually make an energy bus for kids too, which is another fantastic book. So I've read
That's
both
cool.
to my kids, all three of them to my kids, because I'm big on wanting them to be great people. I think, or obviously the hardest thing about parenting is you're developing someone to be a great adult without you.
Yeah.
Which is like so sad when you think about
when you think about it that way.
When you think about it. And then there's also some other study too. Sidetrack. Sorry guys.
Another rabbit hole
coming that by the time that your child hits 13, you will have already spent 70% or 75% of the time you ever will with them is from the age of 13 and under.
Really?
The other 25% for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
That's all you get. It's that first under 12, 13 years, that's the most time you're ever going to spend with them. You know, they start getting jobs and friends and girlfriends and boyfriends, and then they move away. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that leads into another thing, that you will know your child as an adult for longer than you knew them as a child.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's so sad. But it's also really exciting because you can't dwell on things that you can't change.
Yeah, you can't.
I've said it from the get-go. I'm raising my little best friends in the future. You know, I may not be their best friend right now.
It's got to be that way, though.
It has to. But I'm making the correct choices that I really know that as an adult they will look back on it and be like, wow, like, she really loved me. Like, or how the heck did she do all of this? What was going through this crazy lady's mind? But I know that they're going to look back on it and they will be so happy with, you know, how their childhood was. Yeah. So
that's a great positive note to end on.
That is a really great positive note to end on. So thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, leave some comments because we haven't gotten comments in a while. So we would absolutely love them. We were just talking about it like, hey, we need to get some people talking on here. So tell us what you want to hear, maybe, or even what you don't want to hear.
Yeah, what you liked, didn't like.
And we can go down it. You know, we love our rabbit holes. So
yeah, if you love the rabbit holes, say something. If you're like, this is
we will
pointless.
Be doing it. And so this was episode 10 that we just recorded now. And we are going to be recording some solo podcasts here because Carter is going back to school. So
I'm leaving. Stacia's going to hammer down and
leaving,
continue.
So I'm going to rock through it. And
some
we are
solo
really
ones
going
and
to...
some guests. Some guests on there.
Some guests will be really great. So solos and guests, and we're going to really push into it, and we're going to do a lot more content too on really focused of, you know, raising kids and doing both, having that work-life balance and how to figure it out and what are some issues that I've run into. And since I'm building a house right now, you guys are going to have lots of house building content because that's huge on my brain. So
I feel like a lot of people find that interesting as well.
It is kind of cool because I don't know if I'd recommend anyone to ever do it.
Especially after the experience you're going through right now, it sounds like.
I don't know. Sometimes that's stay tuned for that building podcast and you'll hear more about it. But
if you want to spend lots more money than you don't think originally, build a house.
Yeah, build a house. You will figure out very quickly that we might just be house poor for a little bit, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But if you feel like you're behind, you feel like you are too much, or you feel like you're not enough, do not feel that way. You are enough. You are not behind, and man, you're just driven for more. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.